Hello, everyone, and welcome to Off the Wall. My name is Sol, and today I'm going to do a reaction to the opening round of the Goodreads Choice Awards. For those that don't know, the Goodreads Choice Awards happens every year around this time, and it is where 20 books in each category is nominated every year, and you have an opening vote that then gets whittled down to 10 books, and then you have another vote, and the winner is announced at the end of the year. Before I look at the nominees, which I haven't seen yet, I'm going to make some predictions. I really hope that Independence by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni makes it into the historical fiction category. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about that book this year, but I really liked that book and I hope it's there. My second prediction is Fourth Wing is going to win fantasy, and it makes me a little sad. I've seen the book everywhere. It's all over BookTube, Book Talk, even though I don't have a TikTok, Bookstagram. Everyone's been talking about this book. I think it's the most highly rated book that came out this year on Goodreads. So it's definitely going to be there. It's probably going to win. It's a little sad because every year a really popular fantasy romance like Fourth Wing. Uh, the past 3 years, it's been Sarah J. Maas books win the fantasy category, and I would like a book that is more fantasy and less romance to win those categories, especially when there's some better books than these books that are just not getting the time of day because everyone like loves these books and they're so popular. So I would love for them to like split this category up and have like a fantasy romance category and a fantasy category. So that way these fantasy books can stand on their own. But I don't know if they're going to do that. But that would be really cool if they did. My next prediction is I haven't read from any of these authors, but Emily Henry, Abby Jimenez, and Ali Hazelwood is going to be in the romance section for sure. And Emily Henry will win. She is super popular. I also think The Long Game by Elena Armas will make it into the romance section, and that's the book that will get my vote. My next prediction is that the new Percy Jackson book, Chalice of the Gods, will win the middle grade category. My next prediction, I think Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty, Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab, The Will of the Many by James Islington, and at least one of Brandon Sanderson's Secret Project books will be nominated in the fantasy category and eventually lose to Fourth Wing. Next prediction is if a Murderbot book was released this year, that will be nominated in Sci-Fi because that's a super popular series. I want to read it, haven't read any of the Murderbot books yet. Let me know down below like how much you love them if you've read them. Next prediction is I think that it's going to be between Prince Harry's book and Britney Spears' book as who will win the memoir category. And it's going to be really interesting to see which one's more popular in the Goodreads community. I also predict that I'm not going to know any of the books in the mystery thriller category or the horror category. So that'll be fun to react to because I'm going to be like, I have no idea what this book is about. And the final prediction that I have is there will be at least one book that can fit in multiple categories and will end up in a category as a technicality because it's not popular enough in its like actual main category. So that's my last prediction here. So without further ado, let's react to this year's Goodreads Choice Award nominees. All right, people, well, I'm pressing the button. Vote in the opening round. Let's see. And here we have Best Fiction nominees. Looking at this right now, I'm not recognizing any books. Oh, Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. There's one. I've also seen, I don't know if it's pronounced Mame or Maame or Mame. I've seen that cover. I have no idea what that book's about. And think I have Big Swiss um, on hold at my library right now, but so far Yellowface is the only one I'm really know what it's about. Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, that's one of my favorite authors. She wrote the Poppy Ward trilogy and wrote Babel, which is one of my favorite books from last year. The book is about two friends who are fellow authors, and one of them passes away. The one that passes away is a more popular author, has written more books and got more books published. So her manuscript, friend that is still alive ends up taking her manuscript and pretending that she wrote it. And since it's about the experience of being an Asian woman, she puts a pseudonym for the book to make it seem like she's racially ambiguous. It's a possibility that she herself could be Asian. And I haven't read the book yet. I own this book. I probably will read it by the end of this year. But so far, it's the only one I really know about that if I were to vote, that would get my vote. But I don't vote for things unless I've actually read it. So far, right now in fiction, I don't have a vote. One book cover that is actually intriguing me right here is Evil Eye. And I don't know what this is about. Let's look. The acclaimed New York Times bestselling author of A Woman Is No Man returns with a striking exploration of the expectation of Palestinian American women, the meeting of a fulfilling life, and da da da. So I might have to check that out. The cover looks cool. And I've seen the Wishing Game cover around. I'm guessing it's a book about books based on the cover, but Yellowface is the only one I really know anything about. All right, let's go on to historical fiction. Let's see if Independence makes it. River Sings Me Home, that's on my TBR. That's about slavery in the Caribbean. The House of Eve, I've seen that book cover. It's a Reese Witherspoon book club pick. Um, Isabel Allende has a book out. But again, I haven't read any of these books and they don't have independence, which that makes me sad. But so I guess if I were to pick something here, it's the one that's on my TBR and that's River Sing Me Home. But yeah, so far duds for both of these categories. Let's go on to mystery thriller, which my prediction is I will know no books in this either. So we're gonna go 3 categories where I don't know any of them. I've seen the cover for The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. Yeah, I don't know any of these. Let me know if any of these mystery thrillers are worth my time down in the comments below. I typically don't read from this genre, but every once in a while I pick up a good one and they're fun. But yeah, I don't know any of these. Yeah, off to the romance category. Let's see if my predictions are correct. All right, Abby Jimenez. There we go. The Long Game by Helena Armas. That's my vote. Allie Hazelwood, Love Theoretically. Christina Lauren, she's super popular as well. Emily Henry. Emily Henry's gonna win, but I'm a click right there and voting for The Long Game. Look, I got even the I voted sticker. All right, Romantacy. Did they actually do it? Guys, they did it. Romantasy and fantasy. They split it up, yes. The Fourth Wing is 100% winning Best Romantasy, but I was like, this is not going well. I don't know any of these books, but seeing that these categories are split up makes me so happy. Oh, this is great news. All right. Let's see what else do I know from Romantasy. Know about Fourth Wing. The Hurricane Wars is on my TBR. The Hanging City. I That looks really cool. I haven't seen this, but I like this cover. For a young woman who wields the power of fear, humanity's greatest enemy is our only hope in a new fairy tale adventure by Amazon charts and Wall Street Journal bestselling author Charlie N. Holmberg. Okay. Might have to check that out. Jennifer L. Armentrout, that makes sense. She has two books on here. Okay, look at you. I've seen the Foxglove King, that cover around Zodiac Academy, which, how many books is number 8 of Zodiac Academy? Jacid Air. I own that book. I haven't read it yet, but I own it. So if I were to pick a book here, it would be Jacid Air. Although I'm surprised that this is in the Romantacy. I've only heard it be described as a fantasy book set with Egyptian mythology. So I guess there's a big romance in there, and I didn't know about it. So Jacid Air. All right, let's go to the next category, fantasy. This is my bread and butter. Adventures of Mina Al Sharafi, that's there. Probably be the one that gets my vote. Currently reading that right now. Um, Victory City by Salman Rushdie. See, when you split up these categories, you get some good books in here. Hellbent by Lee Bardugo, that makes sense in here. The Will of the Many by James Islington. Guys, I started that book. I borrowed the ebook from the library, and then I didn't read it in time. And it's so popular that I think I still have it on hold at my library. So I want to finish it. It was so good of the first half of the book that I read so far. And if I would have read it in time, that probably might be my vote because I haven't finished Amina Al Sarafi. But there's 12 days, I think, until the ending of this voting segment. So I should probably be finished with that book by that time and be able to give it my vote. Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chakshi. Uh, that was on my TBR, but after I saw some reviews of it, I don't think I'm going to like that book. So I took it off of my TBR. Cassandra Clare's new book is on there. Ink Blood Sister Scribe. I haven't heard about this book yet. In the spellbinding debut novel, two estranged half sisters tasked with guarding their family's library of magical books must work together to unravel a deadly. I guess I did hear about it because I have Want to Read, but I forgot that I clicked Want to Read on that. So, Bookshops and Bone Dust, Travis Baldry. That's the prequel to, what is it, Legends and Lattes. Did not read that book because cozy fantasy is just not my style. Martha Wells, isn't that the author of Murderbot? She wrote a fantasy as well. Brandon Sanderson, I think that's one of the Secret Projects books. So far, my predictions for fantasy, except for Fourth Wing winning, but the books that'll be here are here. Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. It'll be interesting to see what gets through because there's more space for like actual fantasy. That's exciting. I'm excited. Now let's go on to sci-fi. I have this book here, Chain Gang All Stars, on my on hold at the library, which that one was described to me as kind of like the Hunger Games battle royale, where it's you're in prison, you kind of volunteer to fight, and then the winner of this battle royale gets their freedom, and it's supposed to speak about the American prison system. Um, I'm surprised it's in sci-fi. I thought it was a more of a literary fiction, but and dystopian novel, but I'll take it in sci-fi, I guess. Murderbot, Systems Collapse, number 7. I want to read the series, guys. I haven't gotten to it yet. The Jimbot of Shantyport, that's on my TBR. Land of Milk and Honey, I have not heard about that. Let's see. Lightbringer by Pierce Brown, that makes sense. Here, The Deep Sky. Oh, that made it in. That's cool. What's the Marriage Act? What if marriage was the law? Dare you disobey Britain? The near future, a right wing government believes it has the answer to society's ills. The Sanctity of Marriage Act. Huh. Interesting. Let me know down in the comments below if you've read that book. It sounds interesting. A TJ Klune book made it in that he's super popular. Wow, if I'd have to make a guess, I think it'd probably be either Murderbot or TJ Klune that wins this category. But if I were to pick, which I haven't read these two books yet. They're on literally on hold from the library for me. Been for a while. That's how popular these books are. Chain Gang All Stars or the Jimbot of Shantyport, but I think it's gonna be Martha Wells or TJ Klune that wins. Let's go to horror, which I'm not gonna know any of these books, guys. I'm not a horror reader. No, there's a Stephen King. He's probably gonna win. Victor Lavelle has a book this year. I read what is the Ballad of Black Tom by him, which was pretty good. So, what's this one about? Blue skies, empty land, and enough room to hide away a horrifying secret? Or is there discovering a haunting new vision of the American West from the award winning author of The Changeling? Interesting. Will I read it? I don't know. But I really did like The Ballad of Black Tom. If you haven't read that book, go check that out. Let's see. Vampires of El Norte. I guess that's in horror because they're vampires, but I heard that was more of a like romance historical fiction book that just like happened to have vampires in it. So that's a book that I probably would actually read in this one. Oh, I know another book, Sisters of the Lost Nation. Have not read it. I read the synopsis and I'm like, this is gonna be way too scary for me. But that's set. Well, I guess which tribe does it say? But it's a Native American story, and it's about tribes people, tribal women going missing. Sylvia Moreno Garcia is probably going to win this. She's super popular. So, looking at these, actually, it's between Stephen King and her, Sylvia Moreno Garcia. So, that would be my guess on who wins this. But I don't have a vote for this section because I don't read horror books. But I might read Vampires of El Norte. Young adult fantasy and sci-fi. Got Holly Black here with The Stolen Heir that came out in January. What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. I want to read that book. Spice Road, that's also on my TBR. These Infinite Threads, the sequel to This Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi. She's one of my favorite authors. So probably go with one of those, but I don't know what's popular with the young adult books now. I've been reading a lot more adult books this year, so maybe Holly Black. It's probably going to be Holly Black. Right, young adult fiction. I'm probably not going to know any of these. Ellie Hazelwood. She wrote a young adult book? Yeah, I guess so. I didn't know that book by Talia Hibbert was young adult. I thought it was an adult romance. The more you know. A debut novel. These are fun because this is the first time they've written something, and sometimes they make it into two categories, which is pretty cool. Like here we have Chain Gang All Stars. That was another. Mame, Mame. How do you pronounce that word? I'm not sure. That's in another category. Inkblood Sister Scribe, that's in another category. Wayward's in another category. Wishing Games in another. Pineapple Street. River Sing Me Home. Those are what I saw in the other categories. So, I don't know what I would pick because I haven't read any of these. So, Isn't this a fun video, guys? Let's go to nonfiction. Let's see. Do I know any of these? I read a lot of nonfiction. I haven't heard of any of these books. Let's go to the next category, memoir and autobiography. Yep, we got the Prince Harry, we got the Britney Spears right next to each other. We got Elliot Page's book, uh, Pamela Anderson's book. Oh, Paris Hilton wrote a book. So the only one that I've listened to on audiobook for a little bit was Prince Harry's book at the beginning of the year. And then I DNF'd it. So based on that knowledge, I'd be more in the Britney camp because I do actually want to listen to that audiobook. But let me know down below. Are you Prince Harry or Britney Spears? Because those it's going to come down to those two for this category. Now we go to history and biography. Looks like we got a Martin Luther King book. Oh, Peter Frankopan. I didn't know he had a book this year. The Earth Transform. I'm currently reading The Spice Road by him. So he's a pretty good author. Black as Fuck History. I have that on my TBR. The Elon Musk book, I think that just came out recently. What's this? Pathogenesis, A History of the World in 8 Plagues. That sounds really interesting. I'm going to have to add that to my TBR. That's a good thing about these things too is you get books that you've never heard of before that you look at their covers and you're like, huh, I guess these are the most popular books. I need to add this to see what all the hype is about. Yeah, let's go to humor. That's the next category. I have this book on my TBR. U.S. History, Important American Documents. I thought it was just a history book. I didn't know it was in the humor category. So that's good to know because I like a little humor with my history. Huh, there's an airplane book. Surely you can't be serious. Leslie Jones wrote a book. I wonder why this is in the humor category and not in the memoir category. Is it just because she's a comedian? That's interesting. Wait a second. Is this the last category? They don't have. This is the last category. There's no poetry or middle grade or children's. So they added Romantacy and took away the kiddies, the babies. So no Percy Jackson this year. That was not a correct prediction. Huh. Well, anyways, that's my reaction to the Goodreads Choice Awards. Let me know down in the comments how you felt about these nominations, how you feel about romance and romantasy being split up, how you feel about there's no middle grade or children's or poetry category this year. That's a little weird. I obviously haven't read some of the most popular books this year. Uh, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there are a few books on here that look super interesting, probably going to be added to my forever long TBR. Uh, Maybe I can get Amina Al Sarafi done in the next 12 days to be able to vote for it. And hopefully, I think it's going to get it to the next round where it's whittled down to 10 books. But let me know down in the comments below. Out of all these books that is on the Goodreads Choice Award, which one is your favorite? As always, remember to like and subscribe. My name is Sol. This has been Off the Wall, and I'll see you next time.